On Saturday, August 20th, Mars will enter Gemini. Normally, Mars spends about 6 weeks in a sign. This time, it's going to stay for 7 months. And that is due to the upcoming retrograde. Mars goes retrograde once every 2 years. So this is quite rare. Without further ado, let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive reading. Predictive readings. If you'd like to work with me, check out the links down below. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave me a like or a comment. I appreciate all of the interactions with you guys, and it helps my channel grow. I would like to promote the candles that I made. I have created the candles with planetary magic properties, which involves carefully selecting a time and creating an object that carries those properties. These specific candles have the sun in Leo on the ascendant, and they carry the qualities of the sun in Leo: the confidence, the optimism, the ability to express yourself, also the good luck when it comes to asking people for help. And good luck is infused into the candle as well, because the sun was trining Jupiter at the time, which is another quite rare aspect. So there's only a few of those left. If you'd like to get your own candle, check out the link down below. So let's talk about Mars entering Gemini. Mars is the planet of action, right? Mars represents our drives, what inspires us for action, our ambitions, our desires, our sexual impulses. It's a very self-oriented, self-driven planet. It's like, more so than the sun. The sun cares about self-expression. Mars is very much like, I stand apart from other people. Whenever Mars is in a sign other than the sign it rules, Aries or Scorpio, Mars has to behave according to the rules of that sign. So here Mars is in Gemini. It's an air sign. It's a sign that deals on the intellectual plane, right? If you picture Mars being in the home of the planet, here Mars is surrounded by books and TV, noise, and kind of like, messages and technology and signals. So Mars has to act by using those things, right? So Mars takes on some of the like mercurial Gemini qualities. People with Mars and Gemini are really great with using their words. And if you have this placement natally, if you're born with it, let me know in the comments below. But like, they're really able to talk themselves out of the situation, to kind of like spin things around and build a carefully crafted like web of intricate storytelling in order to get themselves out of it. Of course, there's always a shadow side to every placement. And you get people like Anna Delvey with Mars and Gemini, someone who can spin a web of lies, right? So we all want to be careful around this time that we don't kind of like spin the truth to our advantage, that we're still paying attention to the truth. Gemini is a mutable sign, so Mars here becomes very adaptable, fluid, changeable. So our goals might be quite changeable too. Maybe we feel like we want one thing, but then something changes. We end up being more unsure of ourselves. So be careful. Watch out for spreading yourself in too many directions, because that's like the Gemini, right? There is this possibility and this possibility and this cake and that cake, and you may just feel like you want to go after everything. Since it is an intellect-driven sign, the matters related, like, the fighting or the conflicts or the going after things will become more about using your words, using your ideas, dealing with communication, expressing yourself through communication. And watch out for if there are conflicts, they might be more communication related. It's a masculine sign. It's a masculine version. Gemini is a masculine sign of Mercury, right? Like Virgo is a feminine sign. So Virgo Mars is more interested in getting to the core of the matter and kind of like narrowing things down. And Gemini, it's about spreading things out, right? Like masculine sign. So we're going to be more interested in spreading our knowledge in sharing our insights, in multiplying things. That's once again that whole thing with like having many interests, being more interested in like intellectual games and puzzles and trivia nights, anywhere where you can like pin your knowledge against someone else's knowledge. And like I said, Mars will stay here for 7 months. So it starts on August 20th, doesn't leave Gemini until March 25th. So we're in it for a really long time. Prepare to feel like Mars and Gemini for a little bit. Yeah, like great, I think like a great time to brainstorm any solutions to your old problems, any new ideas. But because Mars will be going retrograde, it means that some of the things that will drive us and inspire us in the very beginning of this transit, we will likely to rethink. We will find flaws in some of those initial desires, and also just in our desires in general, right? Like when Mars goes retrograde, just like any other planet, Mars becomes more introspective and less interested in direct expression. So when Mars is direct, you get a goal, you make a plan, you check out items on that list, and you go towards it. With Mars being retrograde, there might be certain things that even brought to you by other people, like somebody gets in a fight with you, or you know, with Mercury, like your tech breaks down, making you see that maybe some of these material things and physical things are not as solid, or is not as real, not as like satisfactory to you as they initially seem to be. So Mars going retrograde will make us take a step back and look at our actions and determine whether we are pursuing things that are authentic or whether we're just like spinning our wheels, right? Sometimes we get so caught up in life and the life just keeps going and going and going. You don't have a moment to stop. That's why personally I like Mercury retrogrades, because this is your opportunity to not take a lot of significant action, right? Like people get frustrated, but maybe things that you're so actively pursuing are not authentic to you. Maybe life is more about slowing down and traveling to France and taking a break and relaxing, right? Not that I'm filming this video coming to you from France, so I am still working, but it's just the time like when Mars goes retrograde, which is not until October 30th, and then it's going to be retrograde until January 12th, so approximately 11 weeks. So not until then we may realize that some of our pursuits are actually flawed and not worth our time. So just beware, right, of all the sectors where Mars is retrograde. And when Mars goes retrograde, I'll go back in and talk about Mars retrograde specifically. Right now I just want to talk about Mars in Gemini. Mars will enter its pre-retrograde shadow on September 3rd, so it's gonna last for a while, right? Because Mars will, when it's retrograde, it will move back from 25 degrees into 8 degrees. So if you have any planets in that sector of Gemini, I have my moon, woohoo! Or mutable signs, Virgo, Sag, Pisces, you will feel the retrograde possibly stronger, but especially if you have planets in Gemini. And yeah, like the retrograde could be the time when we don't feel as inspired, when we can't express frustration, when we have to like go inward and maybe like rethink our drives, our motivations, our way of expressing ourselves, the things we're saying. All of our like unconscious anger might come up, unconscious things that we don't express, things that we subdue will kind of burst and bubble up to the surface. But for now, let's just talk about what this might symbolize for your sign. So for Aries rising, Mars enters your third house, and third house is the place of communication and writing and skills. So with Mars being here, you will be communicating in a more direct way. There might be more communication, more people to see, more places to go, more experiences to have, right? Your mind will be busier and busier with different business ideas, with different exciting possibilities and opportunities. Take a time to journal at this time, you know, have like a notebook and a pen next to your on your bedside table. Virgo wants to be specific and accurate. So yeah, like be ready for the mind bubbling up with ideas. There might be more conflicts with siblings, more butting heads with siblings, neighbors. Sort of try to work with them versus work against them. You may also experience more short trips and short journeys. And of course, when Mars goes retrograde, this might be your opportunity to rethink your ideas, rethink your communication, and maybe take a step back on the things that you have been pursuing. Like, beware that, you know, if you're starting any projects from August 20th until October 30th, they might need to be revisited or rethought somehow. For Taurus rising, Mars enters your second house, so you can expect to be more entrepreneurial, get more ideas that involve your knowledge and your mind. Teaching something, sharing the knowledge on social media, writing, possibly speaking, and being more competitive. You're more competitive, you're more quick with making money, possibly quicker with spending money. Mars going retrograde later on from October 30th until January 12th will be the time when you are encouraged to rethink your financial strategies and rethink your values too. Ask yourself what makes you feel valued, what makes you feel secure, and as well as look closely at what you spend money on. Perhaps there is something about your spendings that needs to be addressed and changed. For Gemini rising, this is very significant because Mars will be in your first house and it will go retrograde in your first house. So if Gemini risings have felt, you know, Mars would have been in your 12th house for a while, if you have dealt with a lot of uncertainty, not knowing which steps to take, how to express yourself, not believing in your own skills and gifts and talents, now would be the time when you will get a burst of energy and more self-assertive energy, more desire to take action. You might still be weighing pros and cons of different possibilities because it's Gemini, right? Mars in Gemini has different things on the mind always. There's always multiple possibilities at play, but you will feel more energetic. You will get access to this energy more easily, and you might start taking action when it comes to personal projects and personal initiatives. Great time at first to start something new. Later, as Mars goes retrograde, you may have to rethink your ambitions and your desires and perhaps take a step back on all the things that you've been pushing forward and just kind of express your frustrations in a healthy way, or maybe just access frustration, right? Like, but I feel like don't expect everything that you're working on to just go easy and smoothly. You may have to rethink things, and be careful for all these 7 months. 7 and 6 became sex. Be careful rushing places because you tend to be possibly more accident prone. Because you're just you have so much energy, you're just like bursting, you're ready to get things started. And maybe meditate, right? Take breaks. don't like go crazy. For Cancer rising, Gemini is the 12th house, so Mars goes into your 12th house, and you're in for 7 months of deep work on yourself, right? Maybe not like just being super analytical and doing therapy the entire time, but this is a great time for any spiritual practices, for meditation, yoga, any spiritual work, any martial arts that are like have a spiritual element in them, right? I think many of them do. So you will be battling things out behind the scenes more, and you can expect to work alone more, because 12th house is the place of like being on your own, and whether that means you're working on a project quietly behind the scenes, or whether that means you're working on your own self-defeating tendencies, those two are the main options. 12th house also deals with imagination, so you may feel more inspired to work on something. Definitely like try to have a healthy balance between pursuing goals and taking breaks and taking time to rest. Watch out for being too self-critical. This is definitely a strong possibility with Mars in the 12th house. And I would recommend like doing a good amount of exercise, because sometimes Mars in the 12th house can bring troubles with sleep. Don't worry about that if you're fine. You're just like, your head is thinking and you might be more critical of yourself. So you want to get ahead of that by building good sleep habits and having good sleep rituals. It's also like the time to relax. And when Mars goes retrograde, you may have to address any of your self-defeating tendencies and perhaps rethink how you treat yourself and things you tell yourself and engagements you have with other people that drain you versus build you up. For Leo rising, we have Mars entering 11th house, and you are more interested to work with others. You're more interested to lead other people, right? You may be networking more, socializing more, going out more, and you have that clear, like, I'm in charge desire to be the one that leads people behind, right? Like, you are a Leo rising, you have leadership qualities already, so Mars in the 11th house might highlight that. And it's also likely that whatever you're trying to accomplish will heavily rely on your network and people around you that can help you reach your goals. So talking to people, reaching out to people who can be of help to you might be important at this time. Watch out for getting in fights with people. Watch out for pushing your agenda too hard on them, because even though it may feel like you know what's up, you may not know. Don't assume that you know everything. Don't assume that your opinion is the right one. Hopefully, Mars being in Gemini will make you more flexible. But I think working out with other people, socializing, asking them for help, asking them to put you in touch with someone that can help you reach your goals could be lovely right now. And then when Mars goes retrograde on October 30th, you may have to rethink some of your friendships, some of your actions, even the way you want to present yourself to the world, or you want the world to see you, might need to be revisited. For Virgo rising, Mars goes into your 10th house, and 10th house is the place of career, status, reputation. So you may have more energy to pursue professional projects, to step into the light, to be more in charge professionally. You have more drive, more desire to succeed, and more ideas possibly that you'd like to pursue. There might just be like a lot busier upcoming 7 months for you at work, excluding the retrograde period, right? Like, the retrograde period from October 30th might actually be the time when some of the things you've been pursuing will need to be addressed, or maybe you will feel like you're less excited about those things and you may need to rethink what you're going after. So a very, very busy period professionally, and possibly a period in which you'll need to do some careful thinking and deliberating about your professional goals and whether things that you pursue are yours and make you happy, or they are some things that you have just been like, you know, going after without revisiting them. Because sometimes our goals, and we may like fall into things that feel comfortable but don't make our souls happy. And this period for Virgo risings will be very much about that. Is this a job or is this a career? And what changes can you make in order to maybe, you know, turn it into something more satisfying? For Libra rising, Mars enters your 9th house, and this might be a great time for you to travel. Ta-da! A Libra rising. So Mars in the 9th house inspires action in the sector of travel, education, religion, philosophy, travel. Again, double travel. But yeah, like more action in the realm of expanding your world and more questioning of your beliefs and your guiding principles. You're focusing on the big picture, right? Like you're focusing on your things that motivate you, things that inspire you, things that you believe in. So this might be a busy time when it comes to like learning new things or sharing your knowledge. This might be a busy time when it comes to traveling, working on something that deals with sharing your knowledge, going to like local museums, just like absorbing a lot of information. Be careful that you're not just like gathering data for the sake of gathering data, and like maybe you're just trying to stay busy and avoiding some of the problems that you actually should be dealing with. But yeah, like could be a lovely period where you decide to study something, where you decide to travel, you decide to expand your life and take on new things. And then when Mars goes retrograde, you may realize that some of those new things are not true to you, or some of those new things maybe just, you know, maybe you get all these new exciting ideas and new projects and you feel like they make you happy. But then when Mars goes retrograde, you may realize that it's about doing less, possibly, versus doing more. Your life philosophy, your life you might need to be revisited too. Like once again, some of your guiding principles, some of your morals. And Mars being retrograde might bring more like conflicts when it comes to your ideals, kind of ideological battles. And then maybe through those conflicts or through the moment of quiet reflection, you realize that those things are not as exciting or not as real as you thought they were. So something more spiritual, something more introspective here for Libra risings. For Scorpio rising, Mars enters your 8th house, and 8th house deals with resources of other people, with healing, with debts, therapy. So when it comes to like resources of other people, you may be working with other people and bringing your resources together with them. 8th house deals with money of other people, so perhaps you are engaging with other people, you know, like working with clients and being more proactive about working with other people, just like, yeah, like reaching out, asking people for help. Because it's the house of debts, you may have a lot more energy to transform any of the debts, pay them off, just being, you know, like quicker at paying them off. A lot of times when Mars is in the 8th house, if you're born with this placement, you may have to fight the battles of other people. You may have to be like an exorcist fighting their spiritual battles, or like, you know, being like negotiating on their behalf, solving their financial problems. So you may find yourself in that position a lot more. And a lot of energy will go possibly to your partner's finances, or to, like I said, any debts or any taxes you might have that will need to be looked into. Be careful of fighting with your partner about money and about resources. Try to talk about things honestly versus being, you know, like passive aggressive and not expressing yourself. Great time, I think, to partner up with other people for sure, versus fighting with them. And then when Mars goes retrograde, you may have to revisit any agreements you have in your relationship and you know, like face and look at fairness. Are things fair? Are things not fair? And how can you perhaps bring more fairness into your relationship? For Sagittarius rising, Mars enters your 7th house, and this deals with partnerships, marriage, business relationship. And when Mars is in the 7th house, you are driven to work really together with other people. But you may have to face certain like ego battles or ego questions, right? Like it's me versus others. It's my opinions versus their opinions. And as much as you want to work with them, you also want to assert yourself next to them. So there might be certain like conflicts that you have to address, certain relationship adjustment matters you have to address. Like if you started a new relationship recently, maybe, you know, this is the time that you like live together or you go travel together with your partner, and like, yes, Mars inspires more time with a partner, but it may also make it harder to find common ground. So try to be very active with your partner. Try to find a common goal that you spend time on and dedicate your energy to. And professionally, this could also be a great time to take action in a partnership with someone. You may feel like the other person is actually the source of energy and they bring a lot of exciting ideas your way. And, you know, they may like inspire you to pursue things that you want to pursue, that you didn't realize you wanted to pursue. And then when Mars goes retrograde on October 30th, you may need to rethink any of your relationship matters, relationship agreements, projects that you started with other people. Perhaps take another look at them. And also, you know, redefine how you fight in your relationships. Do you tend to not fight? Do you tend to hide things and act like, you know, anything for the sake of peace? So this might be your opportunity to look at your relationship tendencies and, you know, rethink them. For Capricorn rising, Mars enters the 6th house. Mars is very happy in the 6th house. It's house of joy. So there's a lot of things to do in the 6th house, right? It's like the place of serving others, taking care of health, duties, and like any daily grind kind of matters. So Mars being in your 6th house will likely give you more energy to work and to handle those things, and will make you more fluid and flexible. You will be better at like brainstorming solutions, coming up with new ideas, and figuring out ways to address old problems, right? Like there might be a great time actually to work out, to take care of your health, to go to the doctor, to schedule all appointments. And then when Mars goes retrograde on October 30th, might be about taking it slow and taking a step back and seeing all of the engagements you have and all of the things that you get yourself busy with. Like, are they making you happy, or are you just doing them because they fill up your time? So some of your, you know, some of the matters related to health or work or daily life will need to be addressed and looked at more closely. For Aqua rising, Mars enters your 5th house, and 5th house deals with romance, creativity, and children. So with Mars being here, you're driven to express yourself. You're driven to have more fun. You're driven to go out, to spend more time with children. 5th house sometimes deals with like physical matters, like working out more so, especially if you like working out, if you like playing a sport. So Mars being here will give you more energy to make art, to make love, to make babies. And you can see a lot more action in that sector of your life. Just more desire to fulfill your inner child and allow your inner child to play. Great time to take on any creative hobby, to go on more dates, to play like intellectual games on a date, you know, like have a trivia night, get like go on a date and like put a puzzle together. Anywhere you can be like playful and creative would do. Yeah, like you know, a good time to go on dates. And because it's Mars in Gemini, you're possibly going to be more flexible, more open-minded than you might normally be. More interested in dating unusual suitors, right? Or dating multiple suitors at the same time. Just try to make sure you are being honest with people you're dating, right? And you're not leading yourself and other people off track. And then when Mars goes retrograde on October 30th, you may have to rethink some of the progress you made in the creative projects. You may have to rethink some of the relationships you have entered when Mars was direct, and maybe take a different approach to your child's life, right? Like, because Mars in the house of children might also bring more action for your child. Maybe you're putting them in a kindergarten, and then when Mars goes retrograde, you realize that you need to switch things up and maybe put them in a different one. Or, you know, like, you may just have to look closely at all of the things that brought you fun, because maybe they no longer do. Or maybe they are not, yeah, like maybe they're less exciting as before. The retrograde might inspire you to look for new ways of having fun, right? Like maybe it's about, maybe you go out when Mars enters Gemini and you feel like excited, but then you realize that staying home and doing a puzzle with your partner makes you happier. Maybe, I don't know. And finally, for Pisces risings, Mars enters the 4th house. 4th house is the place of home and family, so you can expect more action in the home and family. And if you are a Pisces rising, you're born into this very intellectual family, right? Like some family that talks a lot, maybe they have high degrees, maybe they're just like very, very smart and unique people. So with Mars being here, you might be like spending more time with your family, getting engaged in more like intellectual matters at home, right? I feel like your home environment is already like very quirky and intellectual. You probably have like books and maybe, you know, a lot of technology in your home. You read the news a lot. So basically Mars in the 4th can like inspire you to change your home up, maybe to add more intellectual things into your home or upgrade your technology, right? You may try to like upgrade, upgrade your home and find more comfort, surround yourself with things that make you feel more comfortable. There might be more action when it comes to like renovating, redecorating, redesigning, spending time with family, more time spent with family, possibly more fights with family. And then when Mars goes retrograde on October 30th, you may need to redefine your home and rethink how you express yourself at home, how you express frustration when it comes to dealing with family, right? Like, do you have healthy boundaries with them, or do you tend to be more flexible, allowing them to do whatever they want to do and then ultimately feel dissatisfied? So matters related to the home will need to be rethought, and matters related to the family. And like, you know, family I just mentioned, but home, perhaps it's about where you live and whether your home is functional and making you happy and is the right place for you, right? Because maybe you live in an apartment that's too expensive for you and you can move somewhere else, and it will open up space and open up finances for more exciting, pleasurable pursuits. So let me know how this resonates in the comments below. I'm gonna go enjoy southern France, which is where I am, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.